We're done.
Okay, just want to remind everybody that all council meetings will be audio and videotaped. They'll be shown on the Township of Ocean's Community Cable Channel, Channel 22 on Verizon Fios, Channel 77 on Cablevision. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Napolitani?
Here.
Deputy Councilmember Jarrett?
Here.
Kaplan?
Here.
And Weinstein.
Here.
The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied, and a copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster, posted in Town Hall and filed in the office of the municipal clerk on January 3rd, 2025. We'll start off with our township engineer for our township projects.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Hello, Greg.
First two, actually, they're both the road program. 23 and 24 programs, there's really no change in status. 23 waiting for warmer weather. 24, we're in the process of doing all the design work because that just got authorized. Next one, Kepwell. I have to certify with CFO that we have the money to do the demolition, just to make sure I try these things without things in writing, it doesn't go well for me. Next two items, the Whale Pond sidewalks, those are on hold, we're waiting for money for those. Fireman's Pond dredging, we got our NJDEP permit.
Whoa.
Yeah, can you believe that?
Holy cow.
Yeah.
We got that
Congrats.
before we got 15-15?
Yes, 15-15's is in the work, but yeah, this one was a fight too. They're crazy. They actually made another change on Monday, and the deadline was Thursday. We got the plans back to them on Tuesday, and they gave us the permit on Wednesday. So they've changed things right up to the last day.
And which pond? I'm sorry, which one is this?
Fireman's Pond.
Fireman's, thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna start the surveying and wetlands delineation soil testing on Lollipop Pond. That's our second priority. That one, as we've been talking about, has received funding, so we're gonna get going on that one. Next one is Terrace Pond. That one we're still working on. We're gonna meet with the county. They wanna do a little preliminary work. I guess the mayor would probably be involved with that. That's where the county wants to come and do that preliminary, clear out just the channel and Terrace Pond. I sent them an email because when they were asking me to kind of give them a plan on where they could do this, that stretch that has to be cleared out is probably about 700 feet. And they said they just want to come and do a little scratching and do this. And I was like, so I said, you guys got to come to the site, meet me there, you, the engineer, and John Tobia, and tell me where you want to do that, and then I'll give you where the road has to go when you get there.
Dave, have they reached back out to you in regard to this, you know?
No, ball's in our court. I spoke to John to be at the state of the county.
Yep.
And they're waiting on, once they receive everything from Greg, the engineer, then they're gonna get back to us with some sort of quote.
That's for
Okay.
fire.
And then.
No, yeah, that's for firemen's,
That's
that's not for this.
Oh,
This
for
is.
the- oh, no, they haven't
this
reached out
is-
for Terrace at all, no.
So
I'm sorry.
Terrace is
Yep.
the one that they said they want to take the ball and run with it on a de-snagging a piece of that. Honestly, I don't know how they're going to be able
I don't
to.
think they probably would reach out to you first on Terrace, not me.
Yeah, they did.
When they're ready to roll out, deploy.
Yeah, I actually reached out to them because, remember, they wanted me to send them the plan. I sent them the plan, and they said, you gotta be more definitive on this, where we
Yep.
gotta clear. I said, you gotta tell me where you want it, because it's 700 feet long. So come on, look at it, then you'll understand it.
Right.
Because you're just not gonna go out there and clean out a 2-foot section. We would've done that. You know, that channel's gonna have to be cleared out for 700 feet to make that flow.
There's no, that
You can't get.
road that goes there by John Everson's old house, right? You can't get down there that way?
It's a 45-degree angle.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, it goes that steep of a drop.
And when last time we got in there, we used that access, we had to build the road into that.
I was
That
going to say, you had to
That was
level
a
it, right?
major, yeah, that was a major effort. For this, we're gonna come in from the golf course side, because it's flat on that side, but, you know, you still have to get out into the middle of the water, which is about 200 feet wide.
Well, here's the issue, and Mike brought it up, Patrico. We don't want to get into a point where he's got to close that golf course down because we're doing that work. So if they're going to do this thing and they're going to get to work and they want to get it done, let's do it like now. If the sooner they can get in.
I sent them the memo last
Yep.
Friday or Monday of this week. I told them that you have to come out to the site and meet us, and I
Yep.
told Mike I was gonna invite him to that, because, yeah, we do not want to interrupt the process of
Yep.
the golf course, but I think when they see the effort that is needed to do what they want to do, they'll probably abandon it, because they're gonna need a permit to get out there. You know, that's why we haven't done any of this. You just
Yeah, we
reach
can't
out.
afford to have that golf course closed in the early spring when Mike's getting up and running and has everything the way that he needs it. I don't want to do that to him.
And plus, I think we run the risk of doing that on such a minor nature, is everybody in the neighborhood is gonna complain, did you stop, and that's it.
Yeah.
you know, because that's not.
Why'd you
that's
stop
not
at
our
that
plan.
house? You should have
Right.
gone
It's
all
like
the way
paving a
down.
cul-de-sac only halfway.
Right.
Sorry, sorry.
Did that happen someplace?
Is that like the left
Well,
side,
we've
right
done
side,
half
or
of the way. We paved half a road, it's no big deal.
Yeah, it happens once in a while. But when they come out there, when the county guys come out and talk, I'm gonna suggest that, you know, they're gonna realize they have a problem, because you can't just, it's not a one-day thing.
Right.
So, we'll work it out. But I already talked, like I said, I'm gonna invite Mike to come out, Mike Patrico, to come out and, you know, he'll be able to voice his opinion that, you know, this can't interrupt the golf course, and it opens April 1st, so they've got a 30-day window to do that.
Yep.
Okay, next one, 1515 Logan, the soils report is due early next week. Once I get that, I'll submit that all back into the state, and hopefully that will be done. Bimbler, I still haven't heard anything from the county engineer. I did reach out to him again last week, I called him, left a message saying that I sent you the stuff, do you have any opinion on that? I just kind of want to see if they have any verbal response before we go out and put these concrete blocks in the middle of the street.
So Greg, again, just so we know as a council, that's can we do this, or do we need their approval?
I kind of want them to know it, because the problem you have is that.
Well, I know we
really-
want them to know it, but the
Yeah.
question is.
Well, they're gonna know when we do it.
No, we have the ability to do that,
Yes.
because it's our municipality,
It's
not
our-
a county road.
Our street.
Yep,
But the
okay.
thing that I want them to be involved with a little bit, because I wanna, instead of putting do not enter signs parallel to the street that you can't see until you're making the turn.
Yep.
I wanna put a sign out in there right away that says no left turn. Because that then gives everybody, hey, there's no left turn here, and that's all the warning you really need, and everybody sees that, and then they're gonna realize that turn is not there. Because right now what happens is, if you go to make that left-hand turn, everybody knows you can jump in front of traffic coming westbound. But if you get halfway into that lane, you find out what are these concrete barriers in the way. There's gonna be enough room for one car to fit past the street crossing, but the second car is a problem, and I don't wanna have somebody get hit there. So I'm gonna ask them.
Yeah, so we definitely need signage.
I need a sign for them to support it.
And back to John, so the same question, you need permission for the sign?
Yes, that's gonna be on the other, that's actually on the Neptune side of the road.
Oh, you put it on the right side?
Yeah, it's on the right
Okay.
side, the
Yeah, I
south
guess.
side.
Makes-
So the
okay.
county really shouldn't have a problem. I mean, if anybody, maybe Asbury Park, because they're gonna be making a left on a ridge.
Or I think they're actually, instead of making it on Ridge, they're gonna make it on Fourth, I think, Fourth Street or the stub of, end of Fourth, and everybody's gonna be cutting across that, and that little flashing light at the top of the hill isn't gonna handle the traffic. But this
Alright, I
is all
guess-
going there anyway.
I
It's all
guess
going
Right.
to Fourth.
Right.
When we're getting ready, let me know so I can make
Call
that
John.
call.
You
What?
might wanna
I haven't
block
been
that
yelled
out.
at in a couple days. I'm
Greg, and I'm
Kevin,
sorry.
can you lessen the blow
I'm
for
not
me,
available,
please?
no.
Please?
What are you putting in the road specifically?
We're gonna put the Jersey barriers,
Oh.
like 3 sections of Jersey barrier.
Okay.
Is that what they're
Nice.
called?
Huh?
That's what they're
A
called?
Jersey
Yeah.
barrier.
Yeah, we've
He's
got,
gotta
we got
go.
it, they're called, that's like what's down the middle of Route 35.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jersey barrier, yeah. We're the only state that has them. Everybody
That's
copied it,
so
so they had to
funny.
call it Jersey barrier. Yeah,
That's what they copied.
yeah. Of all the things, yes, we're famous
Yeah,
for, we're
yeah.
famous for the barrier.
Notice they're not copying the roundabouts anywhere,
Right.
Yeah.
except in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Or the no left turn.
The only
Yeah,
time
the-
I see roundabouts is in another country.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
where there's no traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
they're-
clock tower.
They are building the
Okay.
roundabout at the top of 66 and Wayside and Andrews
Yeah.
out there.
I see
That's under
that, so
construction.
I'm getting updates on that, as they're doing the work, and yeah, they're moving now. They're really getting,
I think they're planning on having opening it open before summer.
Wow.
really?
Yeah, they're moving pretty fast.
Yeah, they are
Because they
now.
got the bypass lane to get everybody off of the one side of the road so they can fix the
Now,
lane.
Greg, that work that they're doing on 66, they actually paved some of that center.
That's to get everybody off of one side of the road.
Okay, so
As
that's,
you're going westbound, they're gonna cross you over and make that a two-way for a while up to the light.
yep,
And they're gonna be able to fix that side of the circle, then they'll slip it to
And
the
then
other
they'll
side
slip it
and
over.
fix the other side of the circle.
yep,
Yeah, they've already cut the circle in the grass in front of the
I
self-storage.
saw that.
area. Yeah, they're moving along.
yeah, yeah.
It's gonna be a bad thing when that's done. It's just, the one on this, on 35,
Oh, that
why do they
thing.
think that one's gonna
Yeah.
work? There's more traffic up there. Well,
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
You know what
Yeah.
they need to do, sorry if I may, you know what they need to do on circles? Not that anybody would listen, but there used to be in the old days, don't cross the solid line. If everybody,
Yeah, so
and I'm not saying they
Right.
will, but if they knew not to cross the solid line,
Yeah.
That would make circles, especially Asbury.
Yes, yes, because everybody jumps early and try to
Correct.
pass people inside
Right.
of the circle. And
Right.
You mean if they obeyed it?
If they obey.
Right,
they obey.
They obey, yeah.
They obey.
Remember,
They get
even
their-
town-
But it's not there, it used
the
to be
circle
there,
in
they're
the
not
town
there
was
anymore.
awful.
You mean there was
Now
a
it's
sign that said it?
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
cross the
it's true.
solid line.
It's just,
True.
no more circles.
I digress, go ahead.
No
Yeah.
problem. Next one, there's no change in the crosswalk on Sunset and Maple, that we're waiting for the weather. No change in that. Kramer Court, they submitted today for the permit for the JCP&L
Lights.
connection for the lights, so that's coming along. There's no change on the second stream cleaning between Whale Pond and Monmouth Road. I gotta talk to Steve Higgins about that, if we think we can get in there and do that.
So I had a person call me up saying that they saw people in Joe Palea, can it be behind Ocean Commons? Do they touch?
Ocean Plaza?
Yeah, Ocean Commons. No, they're not even close.
Ocean Commons.
Yeah,
That's
deal
deal
35.
That's the deal, yeah.
We were there, but yeah, we were
You-
there 4 months ago in that section.
Okay,
A month
so,
ago, we were up all the way by Ocean Plaza by 35, back in there.
Ocean Plaza or Ocean Commons? Ocean
that's-
Commons is this one up here, Ocean Plaza's Wegmans.
Right.
Oh, yeah, and Ocean Commons.
Yeah, that's Commons,
Behind
that's Plaza.
the new
Right.
one. Yeah,
Right.
we were behind there about 2 weeks ago,
Very
3 weeks
crazy.
ago.
right,
names.
okay.
Yeah, we walked out the northern part of that when I inspected that for when they were done.
But you had the machine doing what it was doing.
Well, I saw that the week after they finished it, but yeah, they were in there a week before me. I just wanted to make sure they cleared out what they said they did when I inspected that. But yeah, they were in there. We found, that's what I told you last meeting, we found that 4-foot high dam in there because a tree had fallen down and blocked it all, and there was 4 foot of water stored in there.
May not have heard it, that was when I was in the car, so.
Oh,
okay.
right, yeah. But that really helped a lot because that drained all that, so it just makes a lot more capacity
Good.
available through there.
Okay. A resident called and said, what the hell's going on? And that's what I thought it was, and I forgot to ask you. So,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
No problem. The only other thing was the drainage on Sheridan. We talked about the lady who was in the meeting about 2 months ago.
Alice?
Yeah, we're still trying to get a hold of the owner because he's not living here yet, the guy in Crosby, because it's easier to solve the problem from his side. And he's in the middle of putting a pool in, so we think we're gonna get the drainage out to Crosby, which will be a much better solution. And the last thing I need to talk to you about, the gentleman from Larchwood.
Yeah.
Last meeting, we talked about putting the bike lanes in, and then he came back to me and said, what are you doing about the speed limit? And that was never discussed if the council wants to try to lower the speed limit there. I know the police officer, Sergeant Martinez, did the speed study. I haven't reviewed that yet, because I wanna make sure the council wants to reduce the speed limit there. And he also asked about putting sidewalks in. And I told him we tried to put sidewalks out there when we paved that road about 5-6 years ago, and all the residents turned it down. They didn't want to have to pay for it.
Mm.
So he's saying, well, what if we get all the residents to pay for it? If he can get everybody to agree to pay for it, we can throw it in a road program in the assessment district. But last time, we tried to put it on the east side because it starts from Park going north. It goes past that new development there. There's like a 5 or 6 lot subdivision on the north side of Larchwood.
Yeah.
That sidewalk, because they did that as an off-site improvement, so it goes from Park to the north side of their property. So it's only, I think, about 5 lots north of that before we get
Right.
to the northern border.
How does it go? Well, so how far does it go?
It goes about 700 feet up north of Park on the east side of the road
It goes north of Park.
towards
Okay.
The West Long Branch border.
Yeah,
It just
it
doesn't
goes
do
towards
the last.
Monmouth.
Across
right?
from the
Right, it
synagogue,
just
like
doesn't do
right
the
there.
last 700 feet because those 4 property owners, 3 of them didn't want to do sidewalk. I mean, not even.
Why would, I mean,
Not even
especially
a matter
now,
of
it's
paying
a
for it, they
I
just
think
didn't want a
now,
sidewalk.
yeah, so there's, the people that live there, I think now would probably
Yeah, there's
want it.
definitely a need for that
Ike
sidewalk.
Nastry lives
I
right
agree.
there.
Oh, yeah, can
So
you,
the thing is, I think he might be talking on, to talk to him, he may be saying that he can get the residents on the west side to pay for it, but I don't know that that extends all the way down to Park, because half of the roadway sidewalk is on the east side of Park.
Right.
on
No, I thought he
Larchwood.
meant the east side, but I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway,
We'll talk to him and see if he,
Okay.
see if he can get it arranged for those owners, we can easily throw it in a road program and get it done in the assessment district.
okay.
Is that typical for a community to start saying they want sidewalks in and start paying for it?
Yeah.
That is?
And also this
They pay for
Larchwood
it.
Synagogue is right across the street, so every Saturday there's
did that.
tons
It
of
totally
people
makes
walking.
sense now
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
it.
Wickapeco from
Yeah.
the one circle down to
Yeah.
Grassmere.
Yeah.
Yeah, generally we do it most of the time. It occurs in like a high volume where kids go to bus stops and stuff for
Mhm.
school. So people have asked for that, and we generally do one like every other year. We have a stretch of sidewalk we do. and we just throw in the assessment district, the property owners have to pay for it. A couple of them, they don't realize, the guy in the middle has no kids, doesn't realize it's coming, he gets a letter from Jesse and says, you gotta pay for a sidewalk, he says, I'm not paying for a sidewalk.
Right.
So, but we can do that.
Okay.
I didn't know if you wanted to look
the
at
speed,
lowering the speed limit there too.
I think he asked Sergeant Martinez to do a speed study. I don't know
She
what
did
the
it, and
result
she
of it
sent me
was.
the info, I didn't look at it yet, cause I
Oh.
wanted to
What's
make
his
sure.
current speed limit?
35.
So I
And
think
they
it's
wanna lower it to
35
30
and it's
or
25
25, I
at,
think.
It's 35 on Marshall?
it's 25 like for part of it, right? Or
I think it's
maybe West
35 the
Long
whole way.
Range? Like with the West Long Range, it's
And he wants
25
it,
and then he
they
won,
want it
they
lowered.
want it
Well, if
25.
the study has it lowered and they want it lowered, why would we not lower it?
I just want,
Oh.
I didn't want.
Yeah, no,
I don't know, I thought it was-
Well, the study result,
Oh, I thought I was missing
the study
something.
result is.
You
is
need
in
that in
there.
I don't know what
He
the
doesn't
study
know.
result
Yes,
is.
The study result's not
absolutely.
in.
Oh, I thought the study said
No,
that
it's
we
not
should.
in, no.
I
Okay,
don't know, I
let's
didn't look
find
at-
out what it says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then let's decide.
But we
Yeah.
can, yeah, studies
Yeah.
can say what you want them to, but, you know,
So-
it's like, I think it probably does. I think Sergeant Martinez kind of indicated it, said we can, the 85th percentile was good enough.
Right.
But I just wanted to make sure you wanted me to travel in that direction.
I think we go off of what the professionals say.
Okay.
I mean, if
If it says, I'm in
Sergeant
favor.
Martinez says
Yeah.
that she can justify the speed limit going down, absolutely, we follow what the pros say.
Because it does come down to lowering the speed limit is only a tenth of the problem. Enforcement is the 99%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Because
at
it's-
least it's a
Again,
step in the
that would
right
be them.
direction.
Is it a wide
They
road?
can do it.
Yes.
Is it a wide
Yeah.
road?
Yeah, well, it's normal, 30 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a very wide, but nobody parks on the street because they're much larger lots, so there's absolutely no
People
parking
zip
in
in,
the
yeah.
street, so,
Yeah.
and it goes to the college. So
It's
all
a-
the kids
it's a-
slide out.
Yes.
Right.
People zip down the road.
Yeah, I know that road.
Believe me,
Yeah.
I
It's
went
a
to
long
college in
road.
Monmouth. and
I was just on that
Yeah.
road the other day, and the guy was with going to
When you were running
going
late
to a
for
basketball
class.
game. He was zipping down the thing like, yeah.
So, but that's really what it comes down to is enforcement, but it does make it a.
Ask them if they want speed humps.
I was good.
You're
got a roll
right.
tonight, huh?
Hey, Rob.
Roll tonight.
He's, he just flew in from Vegas.
My arms are tired.
You could just put potholes in it. You don't have to have speed bumps.
Yeah, we got 3 of them sitting in the garage.
I didn't hear you,
So
sorry.
we got 3 of them sitting in the garage.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
Yeah.
Let them try it. They might like it.
That's right. But that's all I have for the evening.
Did you want to,
Greg.
I do have one other thing, I'm sorry.
you want to talk about this?
Part of the thing with the DEP, our notice of violation that we're working on now, is one of the things, the smallest part of this thing, but it's probably gonna be one of the easiest things for them to find, is all the council people, every time you're reelected, have to watch the stormwater video.
Yeah.
So,
I got it.
okay, so you have to have a signed format.
Way ahead of you.
As long as we have it, and then Jesse,
Okay, yeah.
I'm just
Got it.
saying, I don't know if everybody's done it, I know Jeff said he did, I know you said you'd done it.
And Dave said he
And
did.
Gita, you had watched it at the planning board level, but you didn't rewatch it again for the council level.
When you got reelected, you have to
You got
watch it
reelected.
again.
Oh, I have to watch it again?
Yeah, you
Okay.
Reelected again.
Okay.
Yeah.
35.
But
Yeah,
they
you-
Stormwater.
will probably,
Yeah, you.
they've been going to different towns around the county, they're starting to go and inspect these things. And those are the easy things for them to find. They look at the certifications of the DPW, the workers, because they clean out the inlets, they sweep the streets, and how they handle, they have to have certification classes they have to take. They also look at the records where those are all kept, and they look at the planning board and council people to make sure they took this review course. There's like 5 things they look at, and that's one of them. So I just want to make sure, because what's happening, as soon as we get done resubmitting all this stuff on notice of violation, because we're answering everything she wants, I got a feeling she's going to be looking for something else then, meaning we don't have the records we say we have.
You haven't
So-
made up with her?
Huh?
You haven't made up with her?
No, there's no making up with her.
Must be
It's just one of those
Boom,
things.
shut. This guy, it's like.
But I just, if you could possibly get those done before July 1st.
Didn't everybody watch it?
Yeah, we're good.
And Dave?
They watched
just
it.
signed this,
Yeah, they watched it too.
Hey, Greg, I know we spoke about it in the meeting last week, the Deal Road widening.
Mhm.
Any word on that? Because I gotta tell you something, it's starting to really drive me nuts, going up Deal Road. I mean, like, the whole line of cars, and then people zipping up because they don't see any cars, and they just,
We're,
and I'm
Is it
trying
like
to
the
be the
Wells-
rule
the Wells
follower
Fargo?
here with the road until we get this
Instead of
fixed, but
cutting in.
I don't wanna do that, cause I'm,
Yeah.
I just don't wanna do it, but I gotta tell you something, it is
It's bad.
really, it
And it's
backed,
aggravating
it was
for other
backed
people.
up, the other day, it was backed up past Logan.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was last, I think.
If we
Friday
could
was
get
like
that get that done so that we can move that traffic out. I mean, it's not, it's gonna get worse.
You're talking about widening it by Wells Fargo? Or you're
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a meeting last Friday with the developer, I did.
Okay.
With their whole team, their traffic guy, their design guy, Jennifer Kimco, myself and Colleen, and Ben Matlack, the board engineer. And we discussed it, we're all in full agreement what they're gonna do. What they've done, they've kind of bifurcated it out of their planning board application, so they don't have to go in for a major to
Right.
the DOT. So the town's gonna take on the application of submitting the road widening for the west side of that to the DOT. But they're gonna pay for everything, and all their professionals are gonna give us the plans. So that's in the works right now. Their traffic guy's working on that.
Good.
So
How
hopefully
much wider does it, how long does it go? Do they want it to be
it's
wider?
really not the widening, it's the taper length that we're more concerned with. And we're trying to, the traffic guy said he had a relationship with the gas station people. He's gonna talk to them about giving us a little property so we can go that extra pole by the bank's driveway.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to go to through the next piece of property, and that's all the taper length we need. But we're gonna move it probably as much as 4 feet at the opening and taper it down to 0 at that like 700, 800, 600 feet in. So
Which is what we really, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it would be great.
Which does what? So the goal would be the right-hand lane is not any
No,
longer?
right hand, it would be right
And
and
straight.
straight.
That's what
and
it says,
straight
right.
and
So it'll
left.
be like it used to be, 2
Yeah.
lanes will go and merge on the
Well,
west
West
side.
Boston's
Right.
got 2 lanes.
Right.
And it's
It
just,
says
it's
3.
twice as much traffic.
You'll have a
Right.
left hand,
Like West
dedicated
Side.
left hand.
It'll
Right.
really-
You'll have
it'll
2
really
going across, but the one going on the right side is to make a right turn. It's gotta happen. It's just,
See, and part of that thing with the right-hand turn, you know, that whole development has that road A that goes through.
they're not going in through there.
That's supposed to be the slip road to go to 35 north. So
So
that's why they did that to us. I don't know why they.
2 things.
But then, if that's the case,
They
there
shouldn't
should
have a
need to
right
be a
turn.
right-hand turn.
Yeah,
So,
right.
actually,
Straight,
Yeah.
straight.
Yeah.
you
I was
know,
thinking
we're
the same
letting them
thing.
break the rules
Yeah.
legally. But, I mean, I see their point. I mean, you know, look, if you start doing that, whipping through the complex, it's not even a clean cut through there. It's a,
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, it's a little awkward.
so, yeah, that's.
It's actually amazing the number of cars that when they're going from east to west actually stay in that middle lane now.
I do.
Like they don't, like there was that whole time when it first happened where everybody was trying to go both lanes and then at the end they would see the sign, they would see something, they would cross over. Now it's like everybody's been.
I know, because
It's
the-
bad.
Trains.
the-
No, it's much better, yeah.
I think it's.
Wait for the summer.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We did a training course for people who are only here for the
Yes.
summer. That's
Oh,
right.
yeah,
Video.
tonight.
I'm telling you, man.
Must be in the water. Don't let extra salt in the water.
So 2 things, just to, because I didn't hear them exactly. So the center lane is gonna do what? 35 west?
Go
Deal
straight.
west.
Straight.
Just straight.
That's-
I thought I heard you
that's
say
exactly
left
the
too.
same. No,
Okay.
the right-hand lane is gonna
Gonna be-
be a right-hand turn now, is gonna be a
Straight.
straight and right.
Center is straight, left is left.
Left is left.
Got it, okay.
I still-
No, I wasn't being
I
cute.
still can't
I thought I heard
believe
him
that
say
wasn't
left.
done.
center.
By the way, I want to say, on the
there-
planning board, I thought that was actually something we put in for that.
No.
Then we can blame
No,
Weinstein for
at
that.
the planning board level, what happened is their traffic engineer testified that, in his opinion, a single lane was more than adequate to carry the traffic along there, and that was how it was approved. Because
Make sure he doesn't get out in front of the board again.
That's a.
Follow up on that.
That one didn't work immediately.
So, follow up on that. I thought I remember you saying way back when, we were waiting for somebody to approve something so that Road A, or 1, or whatever you're calling it, we can put the signs up, because we don't have signs there yet to do that.
Yeah, there's nothing, we're waiting on the
To do
developer
what?
and
To go
DOT.
across?
No, sorry,
They have
to
to-
use the urban jug handle.
Yeah, they have to put up signs going westbound at, Route 35 north, right
Right.
turn, and through the complex. So that's up to the developer to get off his final DOT permit with them. They will have to put that sign up. It's on our punch list, but those signs are missing.
Okay,
But I can't force them to do it, but I only told them you have to do it before you get off your bond.
okay,
Which he is asking to get off of, so that's gonna come up soon.
thank you.
Okay.
Any questions for Greg?
Yes,
Okay.
and now that the firehouse is done, how's the light looking?
Well, it's funny you should ask.
Why didn't you bring it up? If you were waiting for me to bait you
I
on
was.
that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I talked to Maurice probably 2 months ago. I talked to him 1 month ago about this was gonna come up, and he said, we'll take care of it. And now I got a letter an email yesterday from the fire marshal who was located in that facility and said, do you have any problems? I said, I think from my punch list point of view, you're in pretty good shape, but the only thing is that light isn't done yet. The left turn lanes have not been an input for the Roller Road and Poplar Road thing, and that was promised to be done with this. So it's probably gonna come down to, you guys are gonna decide when somebody calls you up and says, I don't wanna do them now, I wanna do them later, and it's whether you wanna say yes or no, but I'm telling them before I let the firehouse open that he has to have that light done.
So I'm sorry, the before or after piece I missed. I don't understand that part.
The political side you're gonna get hit with.
From,
Maurice. Because he'll call you up and say, can I, because really the only, from my point of view, the only one who can change my mind of whether I give him a C or not is you, the mayor
well,
council.
respectfully, we've been asking for this for 2 years.
That's what I told him.
Right.
How long
So
does
I-
it take
and
to
he
I
do?
kind of told him, like, you're not gonna get any sympathy there.
No, not on
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah.
No, because he could have done it.
Yeah.
They,
Yeah.
whomever, I'm not picking on Maurice, but
Yeah.
that could have been a part of
Yes.
the project day one.
Absolutely. And there's plenty of correspondence that we've asked for.
Yep.
Can you kind of bring us through, what light you talking about?
This is a light at the intersection of Deal Road and Poplar and Roller.
Yep, yep.
And the requirement is they were supposed to put a left turn lanes for Poplar and Roller,
Ah.
each opposite direction. That's part of their approval. And what happened was, being part of the approval, they could have done it any time through the approval
Yep,
process.
yep.
They came back and said they wanted to bifurcate that application into the firehouse only and the Hill School revision only as a phase 2. And the planning board allowed for that, and I said my only condition was you have to make the light improvement part of the firehouse, and they agreed. Now they're kind of saying they want to put it as part of the Hillel School, and I said, no, you got to do it now. And I told Craig Flanagan that yesterday, and he said he would bring it up with them, because they're getting through their final negotiations to take the building over, and, I mean, it's coming down to, it's been like this for several months, and they've known it,
How long does it take to do the light?
a day.
Why?
It's a matter of getting the materials, which take maybe 3 or 4 weeks. You gotta get the different heads,
Right.
but it's just the guy sits there for probably 2 hours and changed his telemetry board to put the left turn signals in.
Okay.
Any reason to empathize for the procrastination?
Not my
No,
opinion. I mean,
They had
it's
other
you
issues.
can't
Yeah.
claim weather. It's not like it's a construction thing. If the guy just,
Yeah.
you don't want him out there working in 20 below zero temperatures, but, the last week had been in the 50s, and he could have easily done it.
So other than that, the firehouse is ready to be moved into?
Pretty much, yes.
Hmm.
Minor punch list items, but
Yeah.
they're pretty much
Wow.
ready.
Looks good.
Yeah.
It looks great.
Yeah.
It's
It's
a
in a
beautiful
great
building.
location, perfect timing, because they're done with that, and we're gonna pave Larchwood, so.
It looks nice.
I mean,
Yeah.
Poplar.
Poplar.
Poplar,
Yeah.
So it's a perfect time, because that's really chewed up on that end right now. So people have been calling about that, and I've been telling them it's in the process to be paved this year. So,
Good stuff.
okay, that was it?
Do you
No.
want-
Oh, you, okay.
Um, So and I don't know if this is now or closed, the Monmouth Fire Department,
What about?
the property, planning board, zoning board, coming through us, not through us.
Yeah.
No, I think we told them. they have to
Oh,
go
yeah,
to
they,
planning
they gotta go through the regular process.
board. It's not a capital.
That was the
review project.
final word from, Mark Lexstein, the planning board attorney.
Yeah.
So did their attorney talk to Mark?
They were supposed to, but no one's gotten back to me after that.
Okay, so respectfully, any reason to doubt Mark?
No,
No?
no, he's a pretty
And
good attorney.
Tulsa's been going that way too.
Because the fire department said that their attorney, who does fire districts throughout the state, that those districts do capital projects with the town.
It really comes down to a township thing. A lot of towns are kind of like, you're very loose.
Okay,
You know,
so
but-
we're consistent with this.
Yeah, and like I said.
We've done this with.
I know you
Tulsa.
said Tulsa,
Tulsa's
right.
going,
Anybody, the school board, anybody that's done any kind of major renovation has to go to the planning board. We've gone to the planning board on our own things. I mean, we've gone there, and I had to testify when we put the recycling center up. That was a capital project, but we testified to that as it was a brand-new project.
Rob, prior to us being here, there may have been something else. I don't know for fact, but I mean, I asked the same thing you did because I think one of the commissioners was saying that we should be doing it that
Correct.
way. And, I think I even called you, Dave, and you're like, no, that's not how it rolls, so.
Okay.
like I said, I
Good.
called to the
Yeah.
attorney.
I know he called
Yeah.
Yeah,
Colleen, and he was gonna have the two attorneys speak, so.
Yep.
yeah.
We're gonna
they
add-
were-
alright.
They were pretty good on it.
That's the last I heard of it at that point.
Okay. Thank you.
Greg, the last meeting, we had Ed DeFiglia come in to mention about this siding that they're using, that they're cutting, and the styrofoam. So there's an ordinance that he handed us from Monmouth Beach about how to contain the dust and stuff. Is there enough of this being spread out that it causes an issue for our streams and whatnot? As our engineer,
Yeah, this is specifically related to, I believe what I think he's talking about is when you put a stucco finish on the house, and it's the styrofoam board you
yeah,
use.
that's what he's
that's what he
talking
said.
about,
And
cutting the
when
board.
you cut that, it flakes a little bit
Yep.
because it's just the nature of the material.
Yep.
But, I mean, most of these guys, it's not a site where you see this like flying all over the place.
Right.
You know, and I don't think it's a problem. We don't have too many people who use stucco houses anymore. Most everything is with, you know, your cedar compressions or vinyl siding.
Right.
You know, that's like 99% of the houses that are built anymore are with clapperboard.
I think it's a little bit more than that, because it talks about when cutting or drilling AZEC, Trex, any fiberglass, plastic, polycompound materials, plastics, or wood, contractors shall use a vacuum attachment on all saws when practical to minimize the release of dust. Contractors shall cut, drill, and confine spaces to keep dust levels to a minimum and facilitate ease of cleanup. Contractors shall not engage in cutting or drilling activities without placing a tarp under power tools to catch debris and contaminants. So, and this goes on, but it's more than.
So I'm gonna
I
ask
would-
I'll ask the question of Greg on this one. Greg, being that Dave added all that other stuff like Trex and AZAC and all that other stuff, do you see this as a major issue
No.
as it relates to our?
It's a very minor amount of dust. I mean, to be honest with you, if you're worried about something like that, you have much more of a problem when people are saw cutting concrete.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if you ever seen.
You mean
it.
like
It looks like he's got snow.
You mean
on
when
it.
you're doing pavers?
When you
And
do
the dust
paver
and the
work.
house turns white? Yeah.
That
I had
is a problem.
Yeah.
And that's the health problem for the guy doing it. Most of the time he has a mask on, OSHA requires it. But this is, I mean, the amount of trim that you use with AZAC is such a minor nature.
Well, and I'm
Even
even
a
trying
track
to
limit.
think about when you look around our individual neighborhoods with, you know, who's actually doing work. I mean, I mean, I drive around and I don't really, you don't see.
It doesn't create a dust plume.
Right. I mean, I
It's
can
not
see
concrete
if
dust.
we're building a brand new development, we might want to do that, but
But even then.
Even then, it's probably
most
not
of
good.
that stuff, when you cut those types of material, that stuff is a plastic that falls straight to the ground. It doesn't blow anywhere. So it's no different than, you know, it stays where it is, and most likely it's gonna be permanently there. I mean, if it rains or you're super windy, it could blow down the street a little bit, but it's not something that floats away like dust.
after, you know, you and I spoke about it after the meeting 2 weeks ago, and now that you're filling us in a little more, I mean, at first I thought maybe it's not a bad idea, but the contractors will go, they'll never want to do any work here in town. I mean, if you think about it,
Yeah.
we already have a reputation of being a hard town as it is.
You know,
I don't think we need to become more.
and if you think about it, imagine a guy building a new house from the foundation up, cutting all of the wood.
Yep.
Has far more dust and, you know, and soft cut, you know, the byproduct coming off of that than from these things.
And like you said, the cutting of the stone, I mean, did the
That's
pavers
part of it.
last year, and it was
Yeah,
all
that's-
over the place.
That's
So,
airborne.
so are we saying what Ed saw was like an anomaly, or?
Is it
What
was it an
precipitated?
anomaly, you know, was what he saw was like
Didn't he
just-
get?
yeah.
He got called.
I
or he
don't
got-
know.
Yeah,
What-
Monmouth
what did he-
Beach
what-
did it,
yeah.
their environmental, so all the environmental commissioners, they all talk, and this is the,
Right.
this is the trend right now, and
I think, I think you have a far worse problem with concrete, paver stones,
Yeah.
and even with the wood. I mean, that's not even airborne either, the dust that you're sawing off the wood. And it doesn't travel, that sawdust sits right there.
My
But the instance,
suggestion,
but the instance he saw, you basically think was more of an anomaly, right?
Yeah, because
Is that
most
what-
people don't,
You
the
didn't really
styrofoam
know, like-
board isn't used.
Because he was only talking then about one house, that he saw what was going on,
yeah,
right?
If you look at all the houses built in.
Or
someone called him
So-
about a house.
Yeah, so I guess if it's one data point for something like that, then, okay.
Yeah, because to make everybody do that for the guy that might be building a.
Yeah, yeah,
house.
if it's an anomaly, right?
Yes.
Right, okay.
So we're whispering over here, but is there a compromise? Instead of putting shall in here, provide this as guidance?
Well,
So
the
we're not
problem-
policing it.
The problem I would have with it is exactly what I say, you know, if you're gonna go out and monitor that.
I don't know that
we'd
we'd monitor. If we put it as a
But if you're
recommendation,
gonna have, then you really should add in when you're cutting concrete, paver stones, and the things
I
that are
don't
really
think we need,
serious.
I don't think we need a res or an
Yeah.
ordinance for that, do we?
Yeah.
I don't think we need an ordinance for that. I mean, unless we're gonna police it.
Yeah, because that's gonna be the
I
problem.
get your
Yeah, I don't-
point.
I don't
I
wanna
totally
police it.
get
Yeah.
your point.
I don't
but
wanna
I
police
think
it.
we're
Put
getting
it out there,
into
people are
a,
gonna play, hey,
You're
an
gonna create a
ordinance.
problem for yourself.
Yeah, we're getting into a
And then
slippery
people are like,
slope
well,
here.
why aren't you enforcing that? Like, oh, we don't enforce it, we just put it out.
Yeah,
as a
we just
suggestion.
created an
As
ordinance.
guidance.
Also, if you did something which was reasonably prudent for the time, then you have a subjective part, right?
Right.
And then you're kind of adjudicating reasonably
I think
prudent,
we get
right?
into a slippery slope.
got it?
Yeah.
Either
I think
we're
maybe
gonna
what we
police it or
do
we're
is,
not.
we tell the environmental commission, we'll monitor it over the next year or two, and we'll,
Yeah.
actually, I'll get my inspectors keep an eye on how many stucco houses are going in.
Mhm.
And then we'll be able to keep an eye, but I mean,
Right,
I can
that's
tell you,
fine, very-
you know yourselves driving around town, have you ever seen stucco flying around and sitting in a gutter line going into an inlet? It's just not
But
that popular.
in defense of the rest of this, the Trex, having
Oh,
cut
yeah.
Trex, that goes all over the place too, and
Not.
John's right on the
Yeah,
brick.
The brick is the worst, brick
Yeah.
and concrete, I mean, that's just, and even concrete pipe in a construction project, you know, when the pipe needs to be cut.
Right.
That's the dust, you know, those are more of a problem.
I'm good.
Good, Craig, thanks.
I
Okay.
guess this was for Jeff to
Thank
bring
you.
back to the environmental commission.
Yes. Oh, yeah, Jeff, you can make a report, please, at the Environmental Commission, and report back on the 27th
And
of March.
have you seen some of Kelly's reports yet?
No, I haven't.
Well,
You
then I
should.
think what we should do is probably have a tutorial with
Yes.
Kelly and
Yeah.
see if you can.
I had
get
coffee with
emails.
Kelly.
Well,
Yeah,
we
you're
can
gonna
roll this
need
out.
like,
You
what's
know
the
you're gonna have
thing?
it.
PhD.
Rosetta Stone to understand
I
Kelly's
will,
report.
I'll forward you some of those so that you can follow
I
the
got
same
your email.
format.
I'll email it to you.
We would appreciate
All
you
right, see you
following.
later.
Kelly, we love you.
Thanks, Ray. Talk to you.
No.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Greg.
You know, Kelly did have a suggestion, like, we'll go around the table, there's a couple of things I think we want to get in. Do we have anything,
Yeah,
Councilman?
I was gonna talk about the ordinance, which you already took care of, and I've got Tom here who wants to, make a quick presentation about the,
I didn't even
Didn't see
see
him
him
sneak in.
Yeah? He's been here
Why
waiting
is it mouse, Tom?
patiently.
So, just so you know, one of my responsibilities as OEM director is to do the EOP updates every year, when they're required. The Emergency Operations Plan, for those who may not be too familiar, is a plan that every town is required to have. It consists of a basic plan as well as a set of annexes, which, fire rescue, EMS, public works, recreation, sheltering, and a whole bunch of things. Just so you know, the EOP is not Oprah, if that's a word.
use that.
You cannot get it via an Oprah. It is a protected document under Homeland Security. The reason I'm bringing this up is because it used to be that you used to update your EOP every 4 years. Now you get to do it every 2 years. I guess somebody in the state decided that they didn't have enough to do, so we have to update every 2 years. You will see in your resolutions tonight that we're approving the EOP. All the responsible local and as well as county agencies have reviewed their portions and signed off, as well as Dave and I, working on, normally this would be a pretty quick exercise where you just go through and review and make sure nothing changes. Of course, we've had a couple of significant changes over the last 2 years, one of which being a radio system upgrade and going to MedStar. So had to go through and remove all references to Oakhurst and Onamassa EMS, put in MedStar and make sure that that's all in place. So I've asked you to pass that resolution tonight along with the mutual aid resolution that's required to go along with that. The reason I'm here just alerting you is that one of the things they're doing is moving to a new template. The company that the state is doing it for us through a contract with a third party. They are working now on updating our EOP to the new template, which is great. Problem is that we want to make sure that we are in compliance on April 28th when our EOP is due. So that's why we're going through the old way of doing it. making sure that we are in compliance and working with the company at the same time, providing them the updates as we go. And then I might come back to you, depending on what the state tells me I have to do. I might come back to you in April or May and say, hey, I've got a new EOP we've got to renew. So I just wanted to give you an update in case anybody asks you. It's good for you to know. I also was talking to Dave about possibly doing a class on NIMS, which is National Incident Management System for elected officials. It's a FEMA class, which I can give. And I thought it would be good for you guys to, at least sit through. And that's it. Thank you.
That's cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, thanks, Tom.
We'll go to the table there. Let's start off with Rob.
I have one for closed, because I'm not sure if I should bring it here, so I'll bring it in closed, and Kat says I can do it in public, or we'll do it next time. So I talked to Dave before the meeting, and 2 pet peeves. Quality of life issues, if you will, parking on lawns. I don't know if you've seen it, probably not as much on your side, definitely not on your side, but I can tell you from Minoker's perspective, everybody is parking on their lawns. So I asked Dave, and I saw Tracy's gonna take care of it. Also, not a pet peeve, but I have noticed a lot more of them. We have an ordinance that says you can't put flags, like the poles, flags with the publicity things for grand openings and things like that. They are popping up. If you haven't noticed, now that I mentioned it, you'll probably see a lot of them. Also code, they are not allowed either. So
The guy in front of my pizza place had
Yes.
it up, never took it down.
Yep, there's one there now.
Still
In
out
that,
there.
it may not be the pizza one, but there's one out front on West Park.
Right, so that's considered a sign, an additional sign, they have to take them down.
Yep, they can't, right, correct. And so I'll send an email to Tracy, and she wanted pictures too, so I'll get pictures. The other one's for closed session, and we'll see where it goes.
Okay. Gita,
I'm good.
Jeffrey, he's got a book.
So you did read Kelly's emails.
I have a page.
A page
Which
in the
happens
book.
to be in a book. See, all of I guess downstairs I'll talk a little bit more, but we had a environmental committee meeting yesterday. It was about, or a couple of days ago, about a contest that the environmental committee is going to run. So we're going to kind of talk about that. It's designed for kids to kind of help educate the rest of the community on what's recyclable, what's not recyclable. So we're going to run that kind of thing. The Green Fest is going to be May 4th, so I'm going to kind of talk about that for a second. The other is we had some meetings around the Economic Development Committee. So we are putting those things in place. We had a little discussion with myself, Dave, and John, and myself. I'm going to be the chairperson. Rob's going to be the vice chairperson, and we're going to start a process here. And I'm going to talk a little bit about it downstairs, but not in much detail. Okay?
I think the gist of it, Rob, just so you know, with the study that was done on 35, and like I keep, hitting the drum on this thing with Netflix. Seriously, as you're driving, and Jeff did it with his wife last week, eyeball the highway up. Really look at, take some time to even pull into some of the shopping centers, the areas.
Oh, you were gonna say
I
something
thought
else.
so, too.
And look to see, and I have to say, shockingly, the one motel by the Renaissance, that they cleaned that whole front up. Even just by cleaning it up, it looks better. I'm not saying that they didn't hit they might have hit a base hit, but it looks a lot better just by cleaning it up. I mean, there's different things that we can do as a council, facade grants, just different things that we can do. So, it really, and not just the two of you, but I think the entire council should be looking to see what you think we can do to improve this community and make that corridor really shine, because there are people that are going to come down here from Netflix. So.
Yeah. So Rob, I'm going to be away next week, but the week after, I
So
thought
let's
you
meet
meet
next week.
Yeah, I thought me and you would meet, because we talked about like 3 or 4 things that we wanted to accomplish in addition to the 35 thing, but it all kind of dovetails into some stuff. right? And then also getting the chamber kind of involved
Absolutely.
and how to be involved.
I can wear both hats if you want.
Yeah, no, it'd be great, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be perfect, because they do want to get more involved.
So the thing that we're waiting for first is really this study by the topology group.
Yeah.
And waiting for that to come in. Once we get that, we can start getting our heads around, certain things and certain people we want to involve and that stuff. Okay.
I think that report's gonna be really an eye-opener for you also. I mean, he had a draft, I just skimmed a few pages, and just in what I saw in the skimming, it was amazing what they pointed out. And I'm not kidding, I just literally flipped through a few pages, and what they pointed out is exactly what I've noticed with the corridor. I mean, we've got some issues there that we need to address, and I think that we're in a great position right now to do it, being proactive about it.
Yep.
Yep.
That was all I had.
Okay, I got a couple things. Dave, I've mentioned this multiple times, and I'm very adamant on this. We've got to get some sort of Nixle
Oh, it's in the works.
Oh.
that's active, because I'll tell you, I'm getting my information from Neptune, Interlaken, Deal. I don't get Nixles.
It's in the
from
works.
Ocean.
I met with the chief and
Cool.
Tracy. We called Nixle. The problem now is to hang up with Nixle. We'd only have one account that's
Right.
already with the police department, so we're trying to get the workaround so that my office can have access to Nixle, and then.
But
we can put
even
out-
with them though, when there's traffic stuff or there's storm things or
It's all gonna come out of my office.
But in the meantime,
They're-
we used to have a pretty good Nixle.
Yeah, police put things out. There's no one dedicated.
Not on it. I don't get a text
There's-
from us anymore.
There's no one from the police department dedicated to it at this time. So
It's
that's-
been just
that's the
an
issue.
FYI. It's
Yeah.
been years.
Yeah, I believe so. Since I've been here,
Yeah,
we've
we
been talking about it.
we need to get with the times.
Yep.
With especially when the smaller towns are doing it and we're not. I get it. They're not as busy as we are. I get it. I understand that, but
After the last council meeting, I relayed it to
Yeah.
everybody. Everybody's working with it.
Yep. Rob mentioned in the last, several meetings ago, we had talked about the lineup of the meeting and work session, public session, closed session. So we had started some discussions on trying to maybe reverse them, because a lot of times we don't have a lot in closed session. And for example, we'll be done pretty early today, and we're going to sit around for an hour, waiting for the 7 o'clock meeting. So, let me ask you, Kevin. You're in, 2 other towns here. They're close. I know Asbury does theirs because they're always doing redevelopment.
Asbury's unusual.
Yeah,
because they always have those major redevelopment
Yeah,
projects.
theirs is. I can't compare us to Asbury.
No.
But Tinton Falls, when do they do their close? They at the end?
Tinton Falls has closed probably once a quarter, I'd say. They don't have a lot of closed sessions.
Wow.
And when they do it, it's typically before. They'll start an hour before. Their meetings are at 7:30. They'll start at 6:30 for their closed session. But they'll schedule that on an as-needed basis.
Oh,
And they don't do a workshop like you do. They just
Right.
have their discussions in the.
When do they do their discussions?
They have in the public session.
Okay.
And they have,
So they don't have a work session, because honestly,
they just have a public session. That's
Right.
it. Now.
how many times can the public speak?
Same as you. After.
Do they speak? Well,
They
they don't
speak
have a
after
work session,
resolution.
so they don't have a work session
Correct.
to speak at.
It's just a public session.
Right.
Resolutions, ordinances on second reading.
Right.
And then a general, public session. Right. They occasionally, I shouldn't say they never have one. They probably have a workshop, maybe once a year, maybe twice a year. If there's just issues like when they were discussing their cannabis ordinance, they said, let's do a workshop and have a discussion,
Right.
a free-flowing discussion about that. Maybe twice a year, they'll do a workshop. And then 4 or 5 times
So they don't
a year.
they don't do an agenda review or anything like that?
No, that's done, that's done
They
by
do.
they're a mayor council form of government,
Yep.
but they do that with the council president, the mayor, the clerk, and the BA, set the agenda
Okay.
generally in a separate session, but just them, not with public.
Right, and then their council reviews the agenda, and then, I mean, I know Rob meets with Dave weekly, so he goes over.
Yeah, I'll tell you my view. I think this workshop is really productive. I mean, I think it's a good thing to have.
I'm not saying get rid of the work session.
No,
What I'm
the-
saying
the-
is we have a problem with the closed session.
Yeah, you don't, I would say, I wouldn't advise just regularly having a closed session on every week, because frankly, I don't think you need it every
Right.
week. Most towns don't have it every meeting. They'll have, some towns will have it every couple meetings, some towns like Tin Falls, once a quarter. Really, it's, as personnel or litigation issues come up, they have to have executive session. You have to have it, you schedule it as needed. Hey, we got something, do we have every
We don't even-
week?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. We don't schedule it.
It's on there. It's just
Well, it
been
is.
on the agenda for.
Yeah, that's what I mean, so it
For
is.
what?
But there's no
40 years.
time, we just go in when we go in.
Right.
So there's no
So,
advertising per se. We're not starting executive session. I mean, we traditionally started around 6,
Right.
so
maybe 6:15.
Oh, no, what I'm
So
saying
that's
is,
what I was gonna ask.
you don't need an executive session, based on what I'm seeing, put on your agenda for every meeting.
Right.
Because a lot of times, there's just not
Correct.
something
I'm
that's gonna
agreeing.
go in that.
Right, I'm
So-
agreeing with you.
So what I would say you do is, I would change this to not have an executive session on your agenda, and then typically mayor will, a week before, hey, do we have anything for exec? If we
Right.
do, put it on. Maybe you build in after, but whenever you wanna put the
I'm
time.
almost thinking we should maybe start the public session earlier, and if we need the closed session, we do it at the end.
You do that.
And
Like,
that's-
I know Asbury
that's
BOE,
all the towns.
I don't know how your BOEs do it, but I don't know how you guys did it, but Asbury BOE does the closed at the end, and they always make the announcement, we may take action.
Yeah.
I mean, you always do that.
That's,
Yeah.
every town I've been up north, Jersey,
So
that's how we do it.
I'm almost of the opinion that we do it at the end, and look, this is just me talking, I mean, we've got 5 of us, so.
Workshop and.
I would almost say we do the work session at 5 like we're doing and have the public session scheduled
6.
for 6.
I like that.
However, sometimes the work session does go, so it doesn't matter if we're, I think, a little late.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't
I like
start
that.
early,
Start early, you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
but we can start 10 minutes later if we
Yes.
have, and I also might make the suggestion that we only have the public comment twice downstairs. We save this for the reports, what we're doing, and if anybody has a presentation, like.
Well, we could do like the Board of Ed and just have one now. Sorry.
Well, I mean,
I-
look.
that was tongue in cheek.
No, and I'm not adverse to that. I'm saying we maybe wean them off at this point. The work session, there's probably no point. I don't know any group that does public comment in a work
Yeah,
session, because
I don't either.
basically what we're doing up here is
We're
what you're
doing
doing
again.
down there.
It's a single meeting, so
Yep.
really, the only legal requirement is you're supposed to have, you have to have a public portion at
Yep.
every meeting.
Yep.
This is one meeting, so
Yeah, so we
downstairs.
actually do 3. We do 1 here, we do 2 down there. So,
Well, comment, you don't mean comment, you mean meeting.
no, you said
No.
public comment.
Public comment.
Public
Public
comment.
comment, that's
Comment, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, by law you have to have
Oh,
public
I see what
comment.
you're saying.
By law, you have to,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right,
at
okay.
every
I don't,
every
you
public
know,
meeting.
I don't have a problem having I mean, look, I mean, what's the difference if you have one for the resolutions and what you want to bring up? I mean, it's, instead of having it both times, I mean, I think you're right, the board did go to that, didn't they?
Not yet. Oh, maybe last night. don't
No,
know.
I
didn't
think
see.
next month.
The board's
I
there.
think they voted on it.
They
voted
last
last
night. What's today? Tuesday night, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they
Today's
voted.
Thursday. I didn't check to see. if
Well,
it
at the
was
very
passed.
least,
It was passed.
It was.
I think we streamline the meetings
I
and
wasn't
do
part of those.
the work session the way we're doing it, and maybe change the public session to 6.
I like that.
And if we need the closed session, we do it at the end. I mean,
Or you could go, we can do something where it goes 5 to 6, have a executive session, 6 to 6:30, have a regular session at 6:30. And
but if we don't need the executive session,
That's what we're trying to get.
Yeah, I know.
we're trying to get out of that. So I think we're better off doing it at the end.
Yeah.
If needed.
I like it. I
Okay.
like that. So 2 questions. Sunshine law, from an advertising perspective, so we keep, and I never noticed it was on there, but if it's on there, your comment was, if we find out we need it in a week in advance, do we need to publicize that we're having an executive session in advance through the newspapers and whatever other ways we do it.
Well, why don't we just leave it the way it is and do the
Just always have an executive
Have it on
session at the
there.
end.
A lot of
At the
towns,
end.
yeah, a lot of towns will put on executive session if needed.
Okay, got it, okay.
And we'll be downstairs to vote going into closed session, so
Right.
that's the case. If we don't
Right.
vote to go in closed session, we're leaving.
Got it, okay.
So it
Just-
kinda covers us.
Just one point, I think I might be reiterating what you said, but once you go in executive session, you have to act, you gotta let everybody know, because you gotta go back in public and
Yeah.
vote. Can't vote out in executive session.
If you vote.
We have to go back out.
If you vote. Sometimes
Right.
you
Could be a
just
situation.
close it and you leave.
Yeah, I usually
Yeah.
tell, you try to, if there's people there, you say, we're going into executive session, we have a right to take action, but we think it's unlikely we will. So
Yeah.
people aren't
So
sitting
we're not
around,
waiting.
you don't want
Yeah.
people sit around for an
Yeah.
hour. Because a lot of times, going in, we're not gonna do anything coming
Right.
out.
Right.
It's just,
Never really voted.
Then the
on
second
anything.
question.
Yeah.
No, we've never come out of,
We've never voted
exec.
on anything.
Have we?
yeah,
I don't think we've ever
it's
come
it's
out.
pretty rare.
What was, I don't ever remember voting on
jinx
anything
yourself.
in closed.
Hmm?
Say, don't jinx
In
yourself.
executive session, yeah.
In executive
We haven't
session.
voted
We may
coming out
have
of
taken a,
exec.
straw poll or something, but
Not
not
a
But
vote.
never.
yeah,
a
not an
vote.
official vote.
Not-
Right.
Not that I can
Right.
remember, but.
No.
It's rare unless there's like an
Yeah,
emergency.
Usually it's like,
Yeah.
or legal action that
Right.
has to be voted on.
So you wanna set this for like July or sooner or?
One comment if I may, so totally in favor of the concept, love it, think it's great, think it'll be more productive, think it frankly give
Get
us a
us
little
out
bit
of-
more freedom.
Right.
But out of respect for the residents, is 6 o'clock too early?
You think 6 is too early?
But you know what, if they really wanna come, they'll,
People come at 5 when
I
they
don't-
want to.
Yeah, I don't think 6 is too early. I mean,
Just throwing it out there.
I feel like they'll like it better that for the people that want to come to both, they don't have that hour in between.
Right.
or do 5:30.
Well, they wouldn't have to come here.
Or 5:30 to
Right.
6:30 workshop and then 6:30
That's where I was going.
meeting,
That's where, instead of
too
5,
early,
started at
right.
5:30.
right?
Whatever
Keep it
you
the same
know.
hour
Yeah.
and then go 5:30.
I said, whatever the pleasure is of the governing body, I'll be here.
Throwing it out there. I just think it's
So
probably more conducive
gracious.
for people that are working that
6:30
do want to
sounds better
get,
than
right.
Doesn't,
I'm
I'm
good with either one.
totally flexible on the time.
yeah, I don't care.
Let's do 5:30 and 6:30.
Yeah, I don't know why we'd wait till July.
Yeah,
how
I was
long-
gonna say, yeah. I was
Why
thinking
can't,
the same
Well,
why
thing.
can't the
March.
next, why can't the next meeting be that
You
way?
know? Oh, we can't, I mean, we can, I don't care.
No, I mean,
Whatever you
is there a rule?
want. I mean, the sooner the better.
No, there's no
That's
rule.
it.
It's
It's-
all,
well,
it's all
gotta be
general time to
advertised.
You just have
advertise.
to
Advertise.
it's all about the
But,
advertising.
you could do it for the next meeting, you could do it
Yeah.
anytime you want.
Yeah,
Okay,
and we're canceling the March 13th meeting.
right.
So that would be the next meeting?
Next meeting.
Next
Do you
meeting's the
wanna start it
27th.
the March 27th?
That'd give us a month to advertise.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get it out on the,
Yep.
on
Yeah.
everything.
All these
I like
people,
it.
everybody who has their calendar set. for
Yeah, I gotta do it, and they're
Well,
individual, you can't do a repeat
Yeah.
on those.
go
I have my
Yeah, I got
calendar
two-
set.
I
This
got
is
two
gonna get.
Until the end of the year, yeah.
That's a pain in the ass, but it is what it is. Yeah, I like it.
I'm
Yeah,
good
personally,
with it.
5:30 is better for me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
sometimes you have to rush out of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
That's good, 5:30 to 6:30, and if need be, we go into,
Outstanding.
everybody eats people.
Yeah, that's
Right.
great.
Oh, yeah, we
Right.
save money too, no food.
You save money, right?
We go out after. It'll be too early, man. It'll be like being with my mother again.
That's good.
5 o'clock, man, that bell always went off.
Remember the Seinfeld episode when
Yeah.
they met before?
Exactly.
At 6.
Any other comments? So we'll,
Motion
yes.
to go to close.
Yeah, motion to go in closed session.
Second.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
opposed?
Oh, really? Okay, just want to remind everybody out in the audience that all of our regular Township Council meetings will be audio and videotaped. They'll be shown on the Township of Ocean's Community Cable Channel, Channel 22 on Verizon Fios, and Channel 77 on Cablevision. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Napolitani?
Here?
Council members Zachara?
Here.
Kaplan?
Here.
Weinstein?
Here. Please stand as we pledge allegiance and remain standing as we do a silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. You may be seated. The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied, and a copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster, posted in Town Hall, filed in the office of the municipal clerk on January 3rd, 2025. There are 2 emergency exits to my right that'll take you to the front of the building and 1 to my left that'll take you to the rear of the building. Please make sure that your cell phones are turned off, and if you need to make a call, kindly step outside. I'm going to start with council comments at the end. Let's start with Councilman Weinstein.
Yes, thanks, Mayor. I have a couple of things. One is the Environmental Committee met the other day in a special meeting, and there's going to be a competition for school-aged kids to give some video presentation of how to recycle. So look for that over the next couple of weeks and learn about that. The Green Fest is going to be May 4th, and you'll see some information about that. We're having an Economic Development Committee formed. Myself, I'm going to be the chairman, and Rob is going to be vice chairman, and we're looking forward to working hand in hand with everybody on the council and the community to figure out a bunch of things on from Route 35 to other things that are going to be on our agenda. So we'll talk more about that in the weeks to come.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Kaplan.
No comments tonight, thank you.
Wow, all right. Councilman Asera.
I have one, Mr. Mayor. The Greater Ocean Township Chamber of Commerce is having their annual awards luncheon on March the 18th. We, in addition to honoring the scholarship winners, which will be announced if you've applied, you should be hearing hopefully from me tomorrow. But we have a handful of community awards, if I may, Mr. Mayor.
Yes,
Community Ambassador, our former Deputy Mayor and now Assemblywoman, Dr. Margie Donlin. Lifetime Achievement Award, Tom Hayes from the New Jersey Natural Gas Organization. Economic Impact Award, Maurice Sicaria for Paramount Realty. Longevity Award, the Township of Ocean Historical Museum. Education Ambassador, Denise Parlarmis for her 22 years serving on the Board of Education. Unsung Heroes, we have Chief Brian Pemberton and Fire Inspector Nick Simmons. And finally, the Legacy Award for the Chamber of Commerce, Frank Felice, who was a founding member. Tickets are available at the Greater Ocean Township Chamber of Commerce website. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Dave.
Thanks, Mayor, but I'm going to follow the councilwoman's lead and no comment.
Beautiful. I just want to let everybody know that we will be changing our meeting structure on the March 27th meeting, being that our meeting for March 13th is canceled due to a St. Patrick's Day celebration. And of course, everybody's invited. Please contact Jen Nordstrom. Our new council meeting structure will be, we'll be starting our work session at 5:30, and the open session will now be at 6:30. So that's where people can come at 6:30 so that they can make their comments. And the council will be having a special meeting on March 18th to discuss the proposed new town hall that will be held here in the municipal hall. We will be giving a detailed report that will be given by our engineers, our planners, and everybody that's involved with the planning process. We haven't gone over the structure yet, but that will be coming up within the next week or two that we will discuss and see how that process goes. So if you're interested, please, March 18th, we will have that discussion here in Town Hall. So now let's get into the purpose of the public portion is to solely ask questions to understand resolutions that appear on the agenda. It is not an occasion for a public hearing on an ordinance. All questions not related to an item on this agenda should be asked during the public comments portion at the conclusion of the meeting. Are there any questions as it relates to the consent agenda? Please stand up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing here none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Second?
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Napolitani?
Yes. Individual actions, vouchers in the amount of $7,353,477.98. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Napolitani?
Yes. Ordinances up for adoption. Ordinance 2494, which is an ordinance establishing a cap bank for the year 2025 in accordance with NJSA 48:4-45.14. Someone please open public portion on Ordinance 2494.
I'll move to open the public hearing on ordinance 2494.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Napolitani?
Yes. Anyone wishing to be heard on Ordinance 2494, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address. Seeing here none, do I have a motion to close public comment on ordinance 2494?
I'll move to close public comment on ordinance 2494.
Second,
Second.
roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Action on ordinance 2494.
I'll move to approve ordinance 2494 and publish according to law.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. That ordinance passes. Ordinance 2495, which is an ordinance amending Chapter 5 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Ocean 1965, entitled Licenses, subsection 5-16, Cannabis Business Licenses. Someone please open public portion on ordinance 2495.
I move to open the public portion on ordinance 2495.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Anyone wishing to be heard on ordinance 2495, step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing here none, do I have a motion to close public comment on ordinance 2495?
I move to close public comment on ordinance 2495.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Action on ordinance 2495.
I'll move to adopt ordinance number 2495 and publish according to law.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Achara?
No.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Ordinance 2495 passes. Ordinance 2496, an ordinance amending and supplementing chapter, which ones?
It should be 12.
12. Chapter 12 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Ocean 1965, entitled Parks and Playgrounds, subsection 16-5.51, fees associated with the indoor golf facility. Someone please open public discussion on ordinance 2496.
I move to open public discussion on ordinance 2496.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Anyone wishing to be heard on ordinance 2496, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing here none, do I have a motion to close public comment on ordinance 2496?
I move to close public comment on ordinance 2496.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes, ordinance 2496 passes. Ordinance 2497, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 10 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Ocean 1965, entitled Regulations for Handling Garbage, Recyclables, Vegetative Waste, and Bulk Trash, subsection 10-3, Garbage. Someone please open public comment on ordinance 2497.
I'd like to move to open public comment on ordinance 2497.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Anyone wishing to be heard on ordinance 2497, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing here none, do I have a motion to close public comment on ordinance 2497?
I move to close public comment on ordinance 2497.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Action on ordinance 2497.
I'd like to move to adopt ordinance 2497 and publish according to law.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Introductions to ordinance 2498, which is an ordinance amending and supplementing ordinance number 2343, entitled An Ordinance Amending the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Ocean 1965 relating to personnel policies, practices, and procedures. Someone please introduce ordinance 2498.
I'll move to introduce ordinance 2498.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes, that ordinance will be have its hearing on the 27th of March. Ordinance 2499, which is an ordinance amending chapters 14 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Ocean 1965, entitled Swimming Pools, subsection 14-10.3, Membership. Someone please introduce ordinance 2499.
I move to introduce ordinance 2499.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes, that too will have its public hearing on the 27th of March. And ordinance 2500, which is an ordinance amending Chapter 10 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Ocean 1965, entitled Traffic-Section-12-4, One-Way Streets. Someone please introduce ordinance 2500.
I move to introduce ordinance 2500.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Ajara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Napletani?
Yes, that too will have its public hearing on the 27th of March. Public comment section's open. Anyone wishing to be heard? Seeing here none, do I have a motion to adjourn? the
So
meeting?
moved.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you. Have a great night.
I second. Oh.